There is a reason my brother Josiah disappeared. You've seen the photos, haven't you? The ones where he's holding up his hand, shielding a baby carrier, looking almost afraid. It breaks my heart, but I get it. For years, our entire lives were content. Every birth, every tear, every milestone was sold to the highest bidder. But Josiah and Lauren, they made a choice that terrified the family brand. Now, a leaked document has surfaced with the name Frederick. A baby the world wasn't supposed to know about, a baby hidden for months. People are calling it a scandal, but I call it survival. Why did they scrub their social media? Why did they cut ties with the show's fame? And is this secret baby F the final proof that the counting on era is officially dead? Today, I'm walking you through the timeline, the trauma, and the truth about why my brother had to hide his own son to save his family. This isn't just a rumor. This is their new reality. Let's start with the image that everyone is talking about. It's grainy, it's taken from a distance, and honestly, it's painful for me to look at. You see Josiah, my little brother, walking briskly. He's wearing sunglasses, looking over his shoulder. And next to him is Lauren, carrying a car seat covered with a thick blanket. Josiah's hand is up, blocking the lens. To the world, this is a scoop. To me, this is a boundary violation. I remember when Josiah was the class clown. He loved the camera. He was always performing. To see him now treating the camera like a weapon he has to defend his family from, that shows you how much has changed. That car seat holds a life. Baby F that they desperately wanted to keep just for themselves. When you grow up with a lens in your face from the moment you're born, privacy becomes the ultimate luxury. And seeing this photo tells me that Josiah is willing to fight for that luxury. Even if it makes him look secretive or rude to the press, he's just being a dad. No, the document. There's a blurred image circulating that looks like a birth certificate or a hospital record, and the name starts with F. The internet detectives are convinced it's Frederick. It's a strong, classic name. It means peaceful ruler. If that is his name, I think it's beautiful. But think about the irony. In our family, names were part of the brand. The J theme was a marketing hook. By choosing a name like Frederick, assuming the rumor is true, they are stepping outside of that brand. They aren't trying to fit a theme for a TV show anymore. They are naming a human being. The fact that this name leaked against their will is just another reminder of why they left. They can't even name their child without someone digging through public records to expose it. It makes me angry for them because that first introduction of a baby's name is a sacred moment for parents, and that was stolen from them. Do you remember when it happened? One day, Josiah and Lauren's Instagram was full of cute couple photos, baby Bella, and aesthetic shots. The next day, gone or archived. They didn't just stop posting, they scrubbed the evidence. A lot of people ask me, Jill, is everything okay with Sia and Lauren? Did they get divorced? No, they just woke up. I think they realized that as long as they were feeding the beast, posting updates, sharing photos, they were still part of the machine. Scrubbing their social media was a declaration of independence. It was them saying, we are not public figures anymore. We are private citizens. It takes a lot of guts to do that when you have hundreds of thousands of followers. They could have made so much money doing influencer ads, selling baby products. They walked away from easy money to buy their peace. And that is something I deeply respect. Well, why have to talk about why Lauren specifically might want to hide? You guys remember the miscarriage. It was filmed. It was aired. Lauren's deepest, darkest grief was turned into a plot point for a season finale. I can't imagine how damaging that is. When you lose a baby, you need safety. You need a cocoon. Instead, she had cameras in her face asking her how she felt. I think that trauma changed her. It rewired how she sees the world. When she got pregnant again with Bella and then with this new baby, Frederick, I think her instinct was never again. She wasn't going to let the world consume her joy or her pain ever again. Hiding this pregnancy wasn't about being sneaky. It was about protecting her mental health. She didn't owe the audience her bump updates. She didn't owe us her gender reveal. She learned the hard way that the audience doesn't hold your hand when you cry. I look at Josiah now and I barely recognize the boy I grew up with in a good way. 19 kids and counting. Saya was the prankster. He was loud, he was funny, he was always looking for a laugh. But underneath that, I think there was always a sensitive soul who just wanted to be seen for who he was, not what he could perform. Becoming a father has grounded him. You can see it in his posture. Being exposed. He's not performing for an audience anymore. He's performing for an audience for his wife and his kids. He has traded popularity for protection. In our world, the men are taught to be leaders, but often that leadership is performative. Josiah is showing real leadership by drawing a hard line in the sand and saying, you cannot have access to my children. That's not the goofy kid we saw on TV. That's a man who understands the weight of fatherhood. And honestly, I think he's happier now in the quiet than he ever was in the spotlight. It's jarring to look back at 2019. That was the Bella era. I remember when Bella was born, they had a professional photo shoot. They posted monthly updates. Bella is 3 months old. Bella likes sweet potatoes. They were doing exactly what we were all trained to do, share the joy to build the brand. But watch the timeline. As Bella got to be a toddler, the posts slowed down. Then they stopped. And now this new baby, Frederick or whatever his name truly is, has likely never seen a professional camera lens. He doesn't have a hashtag. He doesn't have a public birth announcement. The contrast between Bella's infancy and baby F's infancy is the clearest evidence of their deconstruction. They tried the public family life with Bella, and they clearly decided it wasn't worth the cost. They are raising siblings in two completely different worlds, one born into the spotlight, one born into the shadows. People always ask me, Jill, how did they just walk away? Does Dad let them? Here is a theory that makes a lot of sense to me. The non-disclosure agreements, NDA. In high-profile families, silence is a currency. I had to fight hard for my freedom, and it was loud. It was messy. But Josiah and Lauren, their exit was whisper, quiet. that usually means a deal was struck. It's very possible that they agreed to a strict NDA. We won't speak against the family. We won't write a tell-all book if you just let us live our lives in peace. It's a trade-off. They get their privacy, but the cost is their voice. They can't come out and support me publicly or defend themselves because that might breach the contract. It's a golden pair of handcuffs. They are free from the filming schedule, but they are legally bound to silence. One of the biggest lies we were told growing up is that we couldn't survive in the real world without the show, that we needed the TV money to feed our big families. Josiah is proving that wrong every single day. He is a hard worker. He has always been good with his hands. He's in construction, flipping houses, working in real estate. He is making his own money. That is the key to their privacy. If you rely on the big house for your paycheck, you have to show up for the family events. You have to be in the background of the specials. But because Saya pays his own bills, he can say no, he can skip the big gatherings. He doesn't need to sell his baby's photos to a tabloid to pay the mortgage. That financial independence is what protects baby F. He isn't content. He's just a kid supported by his dad's hard work, not his dad's fame. Living a private life when you have a famous last name is an art form. We call it the ghost lifestyle. It means you change your grocery shopping hours to avoid crowds. You go to a church where people respect your boundaries and don't tweet about seeing you. You drive generic cars. Josiah and Lauren have mastered this. They still live in Arkansas, not far from the rest of the family, but they are rarely seen. It takes effort to be invisible. It means saying no to selfies with fans. It means asking friends not to tag you in stories. It can be isolating. I'm sure there are days they wish they could just post a cute picture of their kids like a normal couple. But they know the floodgates it would open. They are living in a self-imposed witness protection program right in their hometown. This is the part that makes me emotional. Growing up, we didn't have a choice. Our privacy was the price of admission for the lifestyle our parents chose. But Josiah and Lauren are breaking that cycle. By hiding baby F, they are giving him a gift. We never had a blank slate. When he grows up, there won't be hours of footage of his potty training or his tantrums for the world to watch. He will own his own story. He can decide who he wants to be without the world telling him who he is. That is the ultimate act of love. It's sacrificial. They are taking the heat, the rumors, and the rudeness accusations from fans just to preserve their children's dignity. They are absorbing the pressure so their kids don't have to. And that makes them incredible parents in my book. The question everyone wants answered is, are they feuding with dad? It's complicated. In our family, you don't have to be screaming at each other to be estranged. Sometimes the loudest estrangement is silence. I don't think Josiah and Lauren hate my parents, but I do think they have established what we call hard boundaries. Dad is used to being the director, literally and figuratively. He decides where we go, what we film, and how we present ourselves. For Josiah to say, no, you cannot post my son, creates tension. It shifts the power dynamic. I imagine family gatherings are polite but distant. They might show up for Christmas, but they probably leave early. They probably don't stay for the group share time. It's a way of being present without being consumed. It's a very difficult tightrope to walk. And I give them a lot of credit for trying to maintain a relationship while protecting their own nuclear family. Growing up in the IBLP, we were taught about headship. The husband is the head, and he makes the decisions. But what I see with Josiah and Lauren is something different. I see partnership, but I also see Josiah using his headship in a way that actually protects his wife rather than controlling her. I truly believe this privacy push started because he saw Lauren suffering. He saw the toll the online bullying and the miscarriage coverage took on her. A traditional IBLP husband might say, "We need to film because it honors your father." Josiah said, "We are stopping because it hurts my wife." That is a massive shift. He used his authority to build a wall around her, not to force her out. If that is his version of being the head of the household, then he is doing it right. He is prioritizing the mental health of his spouse over the expectations of his father. And that is rare in our circle. Let's talk about the name Frederick. If the leak is true, it is such a telling choice. Frederick is of Old German origin, and it means peaceful ruler. Just think about that word, peace. For the last 10 years, our family has been anything but peaceful. It has been chaotic, loud, scandalous, and exposed. Naming their son peaceful ruler feels like a prayer. It's a manifesto. They are declaring that this child's life will be defined by peace, not by drama. It's also a very classic grown-up name. It's not a cutesy, trendy name that works for a reality TV baby. It's a name for a future doctor, a lawyer, a man of substance. It signals that they are raising him for the real world, not for the entertainment world. It's a strong, solid name, and I think it suits the new life they are building perfectly. I'll be honest, when I see these photos of them hiding, I feel a mix of sadness and pride. Sadness, because it shouldn't have to be this way. You shouldn't have to run from a camera in a parking lot. But pride, because I know how hard it is to break away. I was the first one to really speak out, to sue, to write the book. And it was lonely. For a long time, I wondered if any of my siblings really understood why I did it. Seeing Josiah and Lauren take this path validates my own journey. It tells me that I wasn't crazy. It tells me that the pressure was real and that others felt it too. We might handle it differently. I chose to speak up. They chose to go silent, but we are fighting the same battle. We are fighting to reclaim our own narratives. I feel a deep connection to them right now, even if we aren't talking every day. We are survivors of the same system. This is something I really need to say to the fans, and I say it with love. You are not owed a photo of this baby. I see the comments. People say, "We watched you grow up. We bought your wedding registry gifts. We made you famous. We deserve to see the baby." No, you don't. That is a transactional mindset. Just because our parents signed a contract when we were children doesn't mean our children signed one too. Josiah and Lauren never promised you a lifetime subscription to their lives. They fulfilled their obligation to the show as long as they were on it. Now, they are private citizens. Being a fan does not give you ownership over a stranger's child. If they want to share, that is a gift. If they don't, that is their right. We need to stop treating reality TV families like public property. Baby F is a person, not a plot twist. And he deserves to grow up without thousands of strangers debating his name or his looks. Josiah and Lauren weren't just the first to disappear. They started a movement. Look at the rest of the family now. Even the siblings who are still online, like Joy or Jed, are sharing less than they used to. They blur their kids' faces sometimes, or they take long breaks. Being exposed, I think Sia and Lauren proved to everyone that the sky wouldn't fall if you stopped posting. They showed that you can actually have a happier marriage and calmer kids without the constant feedback loop of social media. They became the example. I bet there are intense conversations happening in the other siblings' homes right now where they look at Josiah's quiet life and think maybe we should do that too. They are the pioneers of the post TV era, showing the rest of the family that there is life after the show. We can't talk about why they left without talking about the elephant in the rooms. Josh, the trial, the charges, the conviction, it was nuclear. It destroyed the family's reputation overnight. For Josiah, who has always been protective, I think that was the final straw. Why would you want your innocent child associated with that scandal? By pulling baby F and the other kids out of the spotlight, they are severing the tie. They are saying, my Wheatswood and Nav, my children are not part of that brand. They are protecting their kids from the inevitable questions. Imagine baby F going to school in 10 years and having people Google his last name. By keeping him private now, and they are trying to give him a fighting chance to just be himself, not the nephew of that guy in prison. It's a protective barrier against a very dark legacy. I think about Lauren a lot. She used to be so expressive. She had a Pinterest perfect style and loved sharing her life. Her silence speaks volumes. It tells me she is healing. You don't go quiet like that unless you are doing deep internal work. I hope she is finding her identity outside of being a Duggar wife. In our world, women are often treated as extensions of their husbands. But in the quiet, she has the space to just be Lauren. She can make friends who don't know who she is. She can have hobbies that aren't for Instagram content. I miss her voice, sure. I miss seeing her updates, but if her silence means she is finding peace and finding herself, then I am happy for the silence. She deserves to heal from the trauma of the show in her own time, her own terms. So, will they ever come back? Will we ever get an official introduction to Frederick? My gut says no, at least not anytime soon. Once you taste freedom, it's hard to go back to the cage. They have built a life that works. They have their own money, their own friends, their own routine. Why would they blow that up? I think we might see a photo here or there, maybe a blurred shot at a family wedding, but the days of vlogs and Q and As are over for them. And honestly, I think that's the healthiest choice they could make. They might be the first Duggars to successfully transition into being normal people. And if they succeed, they win. The goal isn't fame anymore. The goal is normals. As we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this thought. Freedom isn't free. It costs something. For me, it cost relationships. For Josiah and Lauren, it cost them their public platform and maybe even some family closeness. They had to be willing to be misunderstood. So they had to be willing to let people call them rude or secretive. But look at what they bought with that cost. They bought a childhood for Frederick where no one knows his face. They bought a marriage that belongs only to them. They bought peace. So if you see that leaked photo of the F on the document, don't look at it as a scandal. Look at it as a receipt. It's the proof of the price they paid to keep their son safe. And as their sister, I think it was worth every penny. I'm proud of you. See ya. Keep protecting your pack.